It took 3 years to build the Central Library. Frank Lloyd Wright was among more than 70 architects who submitted designs for the site, then the geographical center of the city.
This building was opened 100 years ago, although the library system had been established in 1878. And I often reflect on the fact that until the 50s or even the 60s, probably libraries hadn't changed that much. We had books on the shelf, we had cards in a card catalog, we had no technology to speak of except telephones. Essentially, things have changed largely because of the computers. So libraries have offered service to the community, provided books, provided expert knowledge, and provided a beautiful building. We're still trying to do all three of those things.
The elaborate exterior of the Central Library hasn't changed in the last 100 years. The colorful and ornate rotunda looks like it did on that opening day in 1898. The original meeting room of the Board of Directors is as it was back then. All show the quality and craftsmanship that went into the entire building. But elsewhere, the Central Library is changing in a way that keeps the old world charm while improving efficiencies and technologies.
The major technology would be the use of computers. Now, as you know, we went to an automated catalog a few years ago, which has been a tremendous boon to us. This means that people can come in and very quickly find out things they want, find out what we own. But now we have also added a number of computers in which you have public access to the internet. It goes with our major goal of bringing information to the people of Milwaukee. This has always been our goal, and technology enables us to do that, and it enables us to make that available for people who may not own it or have it.
The centennial celebration began on October 3rd, 100 years to the day the Central Library opened its doors. A birthday party in the new Betty Bryn Children's Room included a giant cake in the shape of the building. Founded in the last century, the library is now ready to move into the next century. With all of its improvements, one thing hasn't changed.
I think that the library's mission, which is to provide information and to serve our citizens, probably hasn't changed since the beginning. We now need to balance our resources much more carefully, because in those days, people were pretty much interested in books or magazines and journals and newspapers, the print media. Now the challenge is to have compact discs, videos, computer databases, and all of those things which just essentially still come out of our book budget. So I think that the issues are more difficult today than they were 100 years ago.
The Central Library has grown from about 75,000 items to house a collection of over 2 million books and other materials. A new welcome desk is among the recent additions. There's a wall of fame honoring Wisconsin writers. And while there has always been a special area for children, librarians take special pride in the new children's area.
I think all of us would agree there's no resource more important than our children, and we want them to think of the library as an exciting, wonderful place to go. And I think if you've been in here, I think you will agree we've done a pretty good job of accomplishing that. We have the lighthouse in there, we have those gorgeous windows and window seats where children can curl up and read, which to a librarian is a marvelous thing to see. We like to see them on the computers, but I love to see them curling up with books too, and they do that.
In celebration of the 100th anniversary, the staff has put together a booklet of 100 years of books and memories. You can pick up a commemorative library card as long as the supply lasts. You can sign a giant centennial autograph book, which will be added to the library's collection.
And we're inviting the community to come in and say what the library has meant to them now or over the years. And I have read some of what our citizens have written, and no public relations firm could say it better. It's from the heart, and it shows how important the library is to people from all walks of life throughout our community.
Technology may be changing the way the library operates, but will it ever change the way we deal with the printed word?
I think books will always be important in our library. We have marvelous older books in our art and music room, which are very valuable, and nothing is going to replace that thrill, I don't think, of going in and looking at some of these beautifully bound books. But certainly computers are going to become more and more important. And the information now is going over to the computer, and we will be right there along with it.
I look about 5 to 10 years down the road, but I'm sure that people will be continuing to come here. Human beings like to go to beautiful and lovely spaces. They like to be with other people, and they like to be around books. The book is not dead, and we are going to be taking steps to make sure that our collection is preserved for the next 100 years.
The Central Library stands as a symbol of the importance of learning and knowledge in Milwaukee, in the past, the present, and into the future. Our city is in the midst of a vigorous growth and development phase, much of it in the hospitality and tourism industry. Miller Park, the new Midwest Express Convention Center, the Riverwalk system, the new addition to the Milwaukee Art Museum, and many other attractions, all important to economic growth.
Actually, in Milwaukee, over $1.5 billion every year is generated by the travel and tourism industry, and we employ 49,000 people. So it's not a little piece of the economy, it's actually a very big piece of the economy.
The Greater Milwaukee Convention and Visitors Bureau is the marketing arm of the Wisconsin Center District. An example of how the Bureau sells Milwaukee around the world is the following video.
You could find it any place in the world, but it's no better any other place than it is in Milwaukee. In fact, Milwaukee, for the arts in general, is better than 90% of the places I've been.
We're really quite blessed. We have an extraordinary destination, and we don't have a product problem. We have a marketing challenge. We have a tremendous product. We have two core businesses. One is convention sales, where we're selling the convention center and the hotel properties that host major conventions and meetings. But also we have a leisure traveler market, a tourism market, where individuals, families are making decisions about where they're going to travel. So we have to work actually in those two specific core businesses.
The Midwest Express Center is the central attraction of the Bureau's convention section, which targets specific groups looking to cities of Milwaukee's size.
Well, the responsibility of the Convention Sales Department is to go out and solicit national associations, corporations, organizations to come and meet in Milwaukee. And what we do is we go out and target specific associations that have certain parameters that we've set, knock on their door, call on them, convince them to come up and see Milwaukee, number one, so that they can take a look at it firsthand, because seeing is really believing here. Our challenge used to be getting them here, but there's so much positive news about Milwaukee these days in our industry. So more people are wanting to come here, and what we are selling to our customers is that Milwaukee is a new destination. So you've been to the Columbuses and the St. Louises and the Kansas cities and all of these cities in the Midwest rotation. You haven't been to Milwaukee because we weren't capable in the past of handling your group. We are a new destination. And so that is our edge that we really have right now above these other cities.
The second core business of the Bureau is its division of tourism. It also uses videos and other promotions to showcase Milwaukee to the nation and the world.
Well, when I come to Milwaukee, there are just many, many things to do besides the arts as well. They have a fantastic art museum here. The zoo is really just world class. The Botanical Gardens is another wonderful place to go. Many wonderful things to do in this city.
Well, the tourism aspect is the leisure traveler, and that's made up of individual travelers and families. And it's also made up of the group as it relates to the motor coach industry. There's great money, new money brought into your community from tourism. And the largest percentage of visitors to Milwaukee is the leisure visitor. Although meetings and conventions are very, very important, and the motor coach is very important, individuals and families visiting is the largest population of people that are coming in to visit Milwaukee.
Billboards throughout Milwaukee are continuing the Bureau's Be a Tourist in Your Own Town campaign. Public service announcements promote special areas like the Milwaukee River.
It's in Milwaukee, and so are you. Be a tourist in your own town.
And our research was showing that over 50% of our visitors come to visit friends and family. So it's very important that our local resident become an ambassador and be able to talk about all the wonderful things there are to do, experience it themselves, and then also know that we are a resource.
The campaign moved into a second phase this year with the Insider Club.
It is the call to action from Be a Tourist in Your Own Town. Now that we've told you to experience all there is to do and you're aware of us as the Convention Bureau, join and become a Milwaukee Insider.
For information on the Insiders Club or any other activities of the Greater Milwaukee Convention and Visitors Bureau, call 273-3950. Visit one of the visitor information centers. Those who sell our city say we're on the verge of becoming one of the most dynamic cities in America.
I can see the future. We know what the future is going to be. We've been able to book really an unprecedented number of major national conventions. In 1996, we did 10 what we call citywide conventions. In 2000, we will do 42. So, I mean, it's just an extraordinary increase, 300% increase in the amount of business that's being generated because of this new facility. So I've seen the future in it, and it looks good.
Baseball is only one of the many activities that P.A.L, the Police Athletic League, sponsors. There are many other sporting events, trips to the Experimental Aircraft Show in Oshkosh, fishing trips to area lakes, self-help and self-esteem classes, and much more. Nearly 150 Milwaukee officers volunteer their off-duty time to work with up to 5,000 young people a year. Whatever the pastime, the goal is the same.
What this program is designed to do is for police officers who take their own time when they're off duty to come back and volunteer and give back a little bit to the city. And it gives them an opportunity to just work with these kids and show them that police officers do not just run around arresting and putting people in jail and incarcerating people, that they are real people who care about the kids of our community. So by coming out being volunteer coaches, mentors, or just being a friend of the kids, this is their way of giving something back to the city.
P.A.L's executive director is spending most of his time off the playing field these days, working to provide even more activities as he plans for a new $5 million youth activity center.
I believe the architect has done a very good job at providing a home-type atmosphere because we want the building to be a part of the community.
The center is to be built on land donated by the city on the northeast corner of 24th and Burleigh, next to our Avenue School and Moody Park Pool. It'll be a multi-purpose center combining recreational and educational programs. Sports, computer classes, self-esteem workshops, life skills such as cooking, arts and crafts, and more will be offered.
Well, P.A.L will provide an opportunity for those kids in the community to come and play as well as learn and be educated. The education will be fun. We're not here to become a school, but we're here to provide an opportunity to give the kids some extra opportunities and fun and excitement ways to a few things that they may not be able to get during the day. Just bring a lot of vitalization to that area where the community can actually get involved. I think that would be just a dynamite thing to see happen, where you have an explosion where the people in the neighborhood, this is their venture. This is not just a P.A.L coming in to say we're going to be your heroes. We're coming in to be your partners.
The Police Athletic League is located within the police department's Community Services Division. Its former commander, now retired, thought it was important then, and he still does, serving as executive administrator of P.A.L.
We're trying to reduce crime and juvenile delinquency, but we're also trying to build a bridge to the community. And this is an excellent way to do that.
P.A.L. is seeking federal grants and donations from major foundations for the Youth Center. Members of the P.A.L. Board of Directors are contributing, and one has offered to match any donation by any of the 2,500 police department employees.
And the reason that it's important, or the building itself is important, is that we're trying to provide activities for our youngsters, and we have some kind of a problem in terms of scheduling when we try to get to various other facilities, youth serving agencies, or we were not able to be providing programming with any consistency. We might be able to have an hour here or an hour there at this time, but the hours varied, the days varied, and in that respect, it's extremely important for us to have a facility of our own.
The transfer of the city land is contingent on enough money being raised within 18 months. P.A.L. officials believe they can do that. While seeking grant and foundation money, anyone is welcome to contribute.
For those in the community, I would say if you believe in making something good for the kids and you just want to give back a little bit to the youth, you can contact our office at 352-5123. If you care to just write in a contribution to the program, please just make all the contributions out to the Milwaukee Police Athletic League and forward those to 6680 North Teutonia Avenue. And I think the most important thing is that no dollar amount is too small, because every dollar you give is another brick that we're going to go towards putting that building together and also building the future for our youth. So no dollar is too small.
Police Chief Arthur Jones has expressed his support for the center, saying P.A.L. is an important part of the department's proactive crime prevention activities. P.A.L. officials say they hope to get the center built before the end of 1999.